Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully, your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant. And today, what I'm gonna do is go through my secret garden build, which many of you have seen me use on stream. Alright, I'm gonna explain what I do with the gun and why I do it, alright? In Season 1, alright, you're gonna be able to change a few of the module slots around for a bit more flexibility. But I've put together what gives me the current maximum amount of flexibility, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, before we go any further, what I am going to say is, if you haven't already, please do register me as your content creator. The link is in the video description. If you have registered me more than 1.5 months ago, you might want to extend your support, because support only lasts for 2 months. So it's free to register and it's free to extend your support. Hit that link. All right, thank you. Let's get into this. Okay, when it comes to the secret garden, what you first need to understand are the base stats of the secret garden. The secret garden comes with, alright, a base firearm critical hit rate of 50%, alright, and I've got 12.2% on the weapon option. It's gold rolled, so that brings it up to 56.1. The firearm critical hit damage stat is a multiplier of 2.25 at baseline, and the weapon option is 24.1, which gives me 2.79 multiplier on this. Okay, firearm attack baseline is 10,534. Of course, I've got a weapon option, so I'm up to about 11,724. Other than this, the thing to understand is that the weak point damage is a 1.5 times multiplier at baseline, which is really good. The gun does burst type damage. You've got 48 rounds in your magazine, which is actually quite a bit more than a lot of other guns. The fire rate is pretty decent at 480, and the reload time is very short. It's 1.6 seconds, so this will become important later on when you understand why we've done certain things a certain way. All right, this gun is also very accurate. It's got 82.22% for hip fire and 87.77% for aim shot accuracy. The damage drop-off is pretty severe, dropping down to a low of 40% at maximum range. However, take note that this gun is effective up to 32 meters, which is a pretty long distance. So if you stay relatively close to the target, I mean, without being super close, you can actually dish out a lot of damage with this gun without losing any damage at all. This 32 meters then extends up to 62 meters, which is a really far distance. And in most combat, especially with Colossi, you won't ever get to this distance. So for the most part, I really do enjoy this gun, and I tend to use it at around 30 to 40 meters maximum. So that's usually the range that I'm at. I do try and go a bit closer if I can, though, to make sure that my damage is always 100%. Okay, movement speed is not too bad with this gun, and of course we've rolled bonus firearm attack versus Colossus. Pretty standard for most guns like this. You should always roll that, especially if you intend to use the weapon for bossing. Horde clear weapons generally don't roll this, but if you're intent on using it for bosses, roll this. Okay, great. Now that you understand the basic stats of the secret garden, let's start getting into its modules. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the basic modules that I use on this, and then I'm going to show you where the variations come in. All right, so for starters, let's remove my camera right now. Where's my cam? Bye. Okay, and now we'll talk about the basic modules. So rifling reinforcement and action and reaction are pretty standard. The recoil increase really doesn't matter on this. It doesn't change anything, so you're getting a whopping 93% firearm attack from both of these modules. All right, weak point sight gives you 35% extra weak point damage, bringing your total weak point multiplier up to 2.025. Every time you hit a weak point, you're basically doubling your damage. So this is pretty darn good. That's why we use weak point sight here. It is also pretty helpful with the Colossi fights. Yes, it doesn't really affect it outside of that, but this is pretty darn good. So we have one weak point sight in here. Better insight and better concentration are used here. All right, these are really good because increasing the base critical hit rate by 37% and increasing the firearm critical hit damage by 48% helps you get a even higher multiplier, all right, of having 68.5% critical hit rate. So almost all your shots are going to be crits, and you've got a 3.348 times multiplier on a critical hit. If you then put in, say, concentration priority, which is great for critical hit damage, your critical hit multiplier goes up to 4.4 times, with a reload time of 2 seconds, which is nothing at all in the field. All right. In terms of critical hit damage, you probably want to increase that as much as possible. Is there anything else you can put onto this? Yes, you can put an inside focus, all right, which can increase your critical hit damage, but you cannot put in any other types of critical hit damage that gives like firearm attack or critical hit rate, like fatal critical. All of that will not work. You can theoretically put in focus fire, inside focus, all this type of stuff, because these are weak point strike focus modules with critical hit damage being secondary, so you can increase it in those ways. Antimatter rounds, concentration priority, we already have that here, so you can't really do much more with your critical hit damage. All right, so I just wanted to show these to you guys. This is basically it. This is how much your crit damage this is how much you can max it out. Now, you can theoretically include inside focus, all right, and it will actually have some pretty good multipliers for your crit hit rate and crit hit damage. So if you were to max out your inside focus, you would be able to crit quite a bit more. It would almost guarantee the crit, but I find that the base of 68.5 is more than enough. All right. So now this is the base build. What are the other slots for? Okay, first and foremost, you're going to have to include your elemental enchantment. Now, in future, you will be able to swap the slot. So one slot is going to have all 4 types of enchantment in there. Enhancement in there. I always call it enchantment. Enhancement in there. But let's say you're going to take on Pyromaniac. You want to put in a chill enhancement. Let's say you want to take on Swamp Walker, which we will use for this demonstration. You'll put in an electric enhancement. This leaves you with 3 slots, and this is for your ultimate and your fire rate if you should choose to go down that road. Now, there are 2 pathways for your ultimate mod. Okay, I'm going to go over both, as well as the benefits and weaknesses of both. And in the demonstration section, you are actually going to be able to see both in action. Okay, but please take note that if you're only interested in one side rather than the other, then you can choose to only watch that. Glay will be used for both demonstrations. Both demonstrations will remain completely consistent. We're going to be using Swamp Walker. Every other mod is going to remain the same. The only difference is going to be Mental Focus and Real Life Fighter. These 2 are the best choices for most of your combat. However, there is also another alternative. I'll go into that shortly. Okay, so let's get back into it. Now, the first combo is Mental Focus. Mental Focus costs you 10% of your fire rate, but when you fire a firearm, the firearm attack will increase by 1.5% for 2 seconds up to 60 stacks, all right? Considering the fact that you have 48 rounds in your magazine here, you will get on average, okay, on average, a 36% increase in your firearm attack by using Mental Focus, which is fantastic. You don't have to hit a weak spot. You can just fire at anything, including minions, and your damage will stack up. This is also useful in frenzied states when you have to hit those tubes on the colossi, all right? Real Life Fighter won't apply to those. Mental Focus will. All right, and you can increase your fire rate by using fire rate concentration to wipe out the negative effect here and get a little bit of extra critical hit damage. So this is what I would use for a Mental Focus setup. This is for your elemental mod. In future, you'll be able to put another elemental mod here if you should so choose. The choice is yours, realistically. You can put in like chill priority or electric priority or whatever here to really up your damage to a whole nother level. Okay, so that is what you can do to ensure that you really, really destroy your opponent. But this is in season 1 because right now, this is good enough. Excuse me. Now, for the next step, it's Real Life Fighter. Real Life Fighter is absolutely stunning as well. It costs you 20% accuracy, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize just how bad it can get. The loss of 20% accuracy, when you actually look at your reticle in the field, if you don't mitigate the loss in accuracy, your reticle becomes huge and your shots will go off track pretty easily. So for a high accuracy weapon like the Secret Garden, this 20% really hurts. However, Real Life Fighter stacks up 10% firearm attack for 5 seconds up to 10 stacks, all right? You lose 2 seconds per failed weak point attack. So you must hit the weak point, but you can get up to 100% firearm attack with this if you stack it up all the way. The main difficulty is staying on track with your attacks, especially when you're racing against the clock. Sure, you could carefully aim for each shot, but that's not going to maximize your DPS. So I leave it up to the individual. If you find that the boss is something like Devour or Gluttony, where they have really, really large and obvious weak spots, please, by all means, go for Real Life Fighter. It is a great choice. And to mitigate the accuracy loss, you can put in Hawkeye. In future, I'm going to probably put in both a Xantic and Rutile slot here, so I can freely change between the two mitigators. But if you would prefer more consistency, you can go with Mental Focus and Fire Rate Concentration. This does offer you more consistency overall by increasing your fire rate. It also makes it easier for you to deal damage, and your DPS will go up, but I'll be real with you. Nobody ever takes into account this number, because this number can be increased just by putting in expanded magazine charge or whatever. Sorry, let me save that. Whoa, don't you dare unequip all that. Expanded magazine charge, which has actually nothing to do with damage, it's just putting more rounds in the magazine, increases DPS, which is why we don't actually take this into account. And furthermore, if you were to remove weak point damage, take note that it doesn't take into account weak spot damage. So this is why nobody ever relies on DPS. DPS can be falsified. You can make it look seriously inflated and make it look like you're dealing a lot of damage per second, but that's not how this works. And again, realistically, your fire rate plays a factor with DPS, and you gain more from having a larger magazine, because it's basically counting the fact that you've got more bullets that you can spit out, etc., so on and so forth. Okay, so for the most part, I ignore this DPS meter. I take into account only what I know actually increases damage. So now that you understand everything about this gun, let's begin the actual test. First, we'll start off with the Mental Focus version. All right, I really love the Mental Focus version. Especially right now, because it's the easiest to run with Glay. With Glay, I strongly prefer Mental Focus. Why do I prefer Mental Focus? Because Glay has lethality. Lethality will not consume any ammunition for the duration that it lasts, allowing you to stack up Mental Focus and keep it going, even when your actual magazine is getting consumed. So we're gonna go into Swamp Walker right now, and I'll show the demonstration using the Mental Focus version. After that, I'll do the same demonstration, same factors, same boss, everything, but with Real Life Fighter. As always, there is no editing, there is no hanky-panky going on, no need for clipping and all that. If my video ends up 20 minutes, then that's what I'm going to show you guys, because at the end of the day, I want to show you guys the accurate information, the real picture, so you can decide for yourself. Okay, here we go. I got some chicken stuck in my teeth. I gotta go floss that out later. Okie day. Now, for this demonstration, and only for this demonstration, we are going to use, I forgot to equip HP Collector, didn't I? Darn. That would have really helped this demonstration, but never mind, we'll make do with Walk Tightrope. I'll just have to survive. Alright, so I'll use my skills. Now, once you start with lethality, you can do some funky fresh stuff. Now, you still want to try and hit a weak point even with Mental Focus, because you're going to get a bunch of extra damage in there. Alright, so I really do like this particular style of firing, and as you can see, you get quite a lot of stacks of Mental Focus. Then once your lethality is back up, you take out the minions like so, all right, and you start firing again. If they go into frenzy, that's okay, but you can also use this to take out the frenzy stuff a lot faster than you normally would. All right, so this is why I like a Mental Focus. Again, it's a pretty strong choice in my books. Not everybody does like it, but I can understand why many would choose it. All right, it's just really easy to wipe out all the bits and pieces of a boss in frenzied state without consuming all that much extra ammo. All right, there you go. Like I said, for this test, we are only going to use the Secret Garden. I could do this a lot faster if I use Blaze Massacre, because her bossing build is built for it, but that's okay. We'll do this the real way, you know? Usually after a reload, I'll wait a minute. I'll give myself a second. Now, lethality will reduce your overall movement speed, so just be aware of that. But once the Mental Focus stacks up, thanks to lethality, you end up dishing out a lot of damage whether you're hitting the weak spot or not. I really like it for that reason. It's just so good at being able to hit a weak spot, and you just feel good, you know? Now, butcher all these. Okay. Boss is angry at me. Not gonna lie, if you get in trouble and you start getting low on hit points, get out of frenzy, go heal up, go back into frenzy. Don't be Don't be too insane, alright? Now, reloading your gun will remove your mental focus, but that's okay because realistically, you're just using it for a little bit of extra damage. Okay, there we are. There we are. Now we're back. Lethality. And then with the accuracy on this gun, even hip firing is pretty good. You can use that to increase your movement speed because of course you move a little bit faster when hip firing as opposed to aiming down sights. But yeah, overall it's not too bad. As you can see, you can induce the frenzy state pretty fast because of how much damage you can do with this. Okay. Let's try not to get too blasted. Okay. And like so. Alright, so that is the secret garden with mental focus. With mental focus, the biggest thing is that you don't have to worry about, you know, where you're hitting, all that kind of stuff. You will just absolutely wipe out the enemy wherever you're hitting. But the overall damage that you're going to deal is lower. Alright, so your final damage amount does not do as well as real-life fighter. However, your maximum capacity, and this is why I love using this with Glade, your maximum capacity is 150% after you get a, 1.5 times 60 is not 150%. My bad. 1.5 times 60 is, I don't know why I was thinking 150%. Oh yeah, that's the general round version. Sorry. This one goes up to 90% firearm attack. So your maximum damage amount is still lower than real life fighter. All right, but you can stack it up a lot easier and you can stay at that maximum amount very consistently. Now, okay, sorry for my incorrect statement. Once again, I just want to clarify. Mental focus has a lower final amount because it's 1.5% firearm attack per stack and it gets 60 stacks. All right, 1.5 times 60 is 90. All right, the 150 version is for general rounds, not this. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna swap over to real life fighter. Real life fighter, like I said, requires a bit of an adjustment. We can completely remove the accuracy penalty with just this much, but like I said, in season 1, when you actually have the ability to put a rutile slot here, you should be able to mitigate the loss from real life fighter by quite a big amount. That being said, and of course get maximum accuracy value, making yourself even more accurate, which is what you want, but you do have to realize that real life fighter does have its struggles, and I'm going to show you those struggles right away. So once again, nothing else is changing. We're going straight back into Swamp Walker. The gains on this are fantastic, so long as you're hitting the weak spot. When you're not hitting the weak spot, it does not stack, and it also doesn't stack on the frenzied parts because those aren't actually weak spots. And I forgot to put HP collector in again, but never mind. Fair test, right? So same build. We'll just go with that. Fair is fair. Hokey smoky. Okie day. Now, when it comes to real life fighter, like I said, the damage stacks up very, very quickly. All right. You can gain a lot of damage. Just look at the stacks there. But as soon as you miss, that's it. And if you don't hit a weak spot, that's it. So it doesn't really stack up on those guys. You can't really maintain it that well. But you can get a fair amount of stacks if you're hitting that eyeball spot. So although you don't have to worry about the total ammo count with this in general, it is pretty difficult to maintain the stacks because the slightest shot off, all right? And if you miss the shot, it whiffs air, you're still gonna lose it. And you're not gonna stack up against these frenzied parts. Therefore, in this section, it might take you a little longer. Ow. Good sir, Swamp Walker, would you kindly not do that? Sir? Dear sir? Alright, very painful, thank you. Okay. That's grand. And we'll just quickly pick these up. Dear sir, please, now is not the time. Sir, sir. Dear sir, Swamp Walker, I'm gonna have to ask you not to do that. So as long as I can accurately target the weak spot, which again, not always easy to do, I can absolutely shred it. But if I cannot effectively target the weak spot, then my damage count is very low, as you can see here. All right, so you're reliant on your ammo count and being accurate with this one. Again, it might be a little bit easier if you were in a situation whereby you could fully mitigate the accuracy penalty and, of course, gain more accuracy. I believe Hawkeye goes up to 40%, which is fantastic. So that would be really, really good for this type of circumstance. But if you can't, then you're kind of up the creek without a paddle. So in this particular case, I have to rely on lethality to actually do anything because I've got no ammo. All right, you don't get an ammo drop, you're still screwed both ways, yeah? Especially when you're only using a single gun. All right, gonna have to be wise here. I'll bring out the Python. The Python is what I call the Python. But look at this, not actually giving me ammo again. My God, this is a terrible test. I wanted to use only the Secret Garden for this, but whoa. The ammo count is not cooperating. This disappoints me greatly. But no worries. This is what lethality is for. Sometimes gun demonstrations can be very annoying because of the randomized drops. I apologize for not accurately showing you guys everything, but I think you can already see the difficulties that those using real-life fighter may experience as compared to those who might be using mental focus. You saw that it was a lot easier to get this thing out of frenzied state with mental focus because even if I did not use lethality, I was actually able to shoot freely. So that is a thing. Even after all that, still no ammo. Okay, well that isn't very good. I'll have to wait till that comes back up. There we are. So, I'm on the edge right now. This is good. This is what I like. It's what I live for. Alright, back to the Python for a bit. So, I think you guys have seen just how rough this situation can get. Again, if you didn't get but this is mostly due to the ammo count, because I'm doing a gun-based demonstration. Let me die and put the ammo back. So the kill times are going to be a little bit different. Assuming I didn't run out of ammo, though, you won't see all that much difference in the kill time, but the kill time will definitely be slower with real-life fighter, depending on how accurate you are. Like even here, I might lose some stacks just because I accidentally was off-center for a second. So this presents a bit of a big issue, and this is why I love Real Life Fighter for the kind of damage it can do, but Mental Focus is 100% more reliable, and Mental Focus is always up. So I urge you guys to make your own choice, alright? Please discount the fact that I did not get ammo for the gun, which I think was the biggest factor. I don't think I've seen RNG this bad in a long time. Look, not a single red ammo, special ammo drop, but even if that were not the case, like I said, I assumed that the kill time would have been about 20 to 30 seconds worth of difference with Real Life Fighter. And most likely Real Life Fighter, despite the fact that it's got a much higher damage cap, would have come out less. Because again, unless you've got the exact slots for it, you know, and you're very accurate with your shots, it's so hard to maintain. It's genuinely difficult to maintain. And you've got to have laser focus concentration. So for me, I am so sorry. I'll be sticking strictly with Mental Focus. All right, Mental Focus is my preferred method. And of course, with the increase in fire rate and lethality on Glay, for example, I can do more. But for other characters, if you want to use Real Life Fighter or you feel that that might be better, you can use that as well. That brings us to the end of this demonstration. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you guys will have a fantastic day. All right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like my content. Don't forget to register me as a content creator via the link in the description of the video. And last but not least, you know what's coming. Thank you to August top supporters. Top tipper is CG Mayhem. All right, top tipper list includes Luke Greenfield. Top super chatter is RR Odyssey. Top super chatter list includes Sebastian LeChance, George Tishon, TX Panicking, Sir Tommy Gunn, CU Yuri, Death Dawning 982, i3XO, Atomic John B, Ted Wu, Phil the Mega Pint, BVS Fang. Thank you guys so much. All right, top channel membership gifter is TX Panicking. Top membership gifter list includes CG Mayhem, Haza, Busanede, and Truffles. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for me. I appreciate you guys. And do you think I'm going yet? No, we haven't thanked the top channel members. Aha! I am no fool for now. Okay, thank you to CG Mayhem, Dithdonny982, Haza, Jose, Princess Star, Track Hoodie, and Arcane Silver, who should be in that list. I told you guys this in yesterday's video. Arcane, thank you so much. Okay, thank you to all of our Plus Ultra members. Thank you to BVS Fang, George Tishon, and Nisk for being only fan level members. All right, you guys are amazing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Catch you later.